So UFC 287, Gilbert Burns versus Jorge Masvidal, two high-level welterweights getting ready to go at it. Masvidal's got the fastest finish in UFC history, 5 seconds against Ben Askren. Both guys touch gloves, they back up. Gosh. Will the ground game stop Masvidal? Or can Masvidal land one of those big strikes that could finish any opponent? And here we go. Fight's underway, baby. Ooh-wee. All right. All right. God, I want to root for Jorge, but Gilbert's my prediction. It's just tough. Already had a terrible night, first losing record of the year, regardless of what happens. So maybe we just root for Masvidal to get the win. Forget their prediction now. Number 5 Burns, number 11 Masvidal, feeling each other out, center of the octagon. And you just want to see Masvidal land one good strike, see if Burns can take it. Nice leg kick to the body by Burns. And you know Masvidal, fighting in front of the home crowd, he's got all types of adrenaline flowing. And that can cause you to get tired about 2 to 3 minutes in. Crowd chant, let's go Jorge. And he lands a leg kick to the thigh. Gilbert comes in with a few jabs. Masvidal backs off. And Jorge not willing to let it go yet because he knows if he does and misses, a takedown's coming. So he's got to be thinking takedown defense at all times. That slows him down, takes away his power shots. Big right by Gilbert. Jorge smiles. Okay. Jorge lands a nice leg kick. Burns back to the center of the octagon. And neither guy leading the charge. Neither guy coming forward and backing the opponent up or chasing the opponent down. I mean, they're literally both in the center of the octagon. And this whole fight's taking place in the center, basically. Gilbert lands a leg kick to the body. Jorge shoves it off. And boy, Jorge looking patient. Here he comes in now with a left, right, and a leg kick. And of course, the crowd liking that here in Miami. 2:15 left in round 1. Just a 3-round fight. When you forget how big Masvidal is, I mean, he just looks bigger than Burns. Burns is shorter and stockier, probably more muscle, tone, all that, but Masvidal's punching downward. Boy, and Jorge hasn't let it go yet. Oh, Burns comes in, looks for the takedown. Masvidal gets out of it. That's good news for him. 1:30 left. Burns misses on a big left-hand hook. Come on, fellas, pick it up now. Come on, Jorge. I know you're worried about the takedown. You got to go, baby. Got to go. And you see no strikes have a big effect like against Nate Diaz and other fighters. But Gilbert Burns has the ability to take you down. He's very good on the ground. And you got to constantly be thinking that. Now, flying knee by Masvidal and another leg kick to the thigh. Now Burns comes in with a right. Jorge backed up. 35 left, round 1. Okay. Oh, big right by Burns. Now left jab by Masvidal, who's being very patient here. Now Gilbert comes in for the takedown. He's going to get it, but luckily there's only 5 seconds left in the round. So, and that's something that Masvidal's got to continue to be thinking about in round 2. So just that right there is why Masvidal's not landing the power punches. So Burns ends it with a takedown at 16-15. Masvidal in significant strikes. Headshot 7-6 the other way. Burns had a takedown. That's it. 22-18 total strikes for Jorge. And both guys take a seat. And Jorge's corner saying, let's go. As we get translators, really, because both guys speaking in Spanish. Both guys got a sense of, it looks like they're both a little worried, you know? I mean, Masvidal getting taken down there at the end. Burns, throughout 4 minutes and 50 seconds, was basically getting outstruck by Masvidal. Then he had the takedown. I had like 5 strikes in about a few seconds. So who knows who got that round, but throughout the course of the whole round, I lean towards Jorge. And I say lean. Round 2's underway. And we've seen Burns pick it up in round 2, and already he's coming in with a big right and drops Jorge, and Jorge smiles. Now Burns coming in looking for a takedown. Boy, he's got a lot of power. He's lifting Jorge up. Boom! And slams Jorge. Burns on top, and that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. Not good for Jorge. Jorge on his back. Now the ref stops the fight, grabs Jorge's hand, and says, not to the back of the head. And Gilbert Burns got the capability of holding this position for 4 straight minutes. This is why the crowd's already booing. And this is something that's plagued Jorge over the last few fights. We saw it against Colby Covington. Guys just dominate him in the control positions. Phenomenal striker. But striking doesn't matter when you're on your back. Burns showing he can hold this position. I mean, Jorge looks like he has no chance of escape. And Burns lands a big right and another. And we saw Burns open up at the end of round 1, but that's because there was little time on the clock. Now he knows, he starts taking those big strikes or big strike opportunities and lets it go. He could lose a position. So he's more content on maintaining the position as he lifts up and lands a right and goes right back down. Crowd booing. But this is the thing, is Jorge, as I said in the prediction, that Jorge can finish anybody, but he cannot defend the takedowns, and he easily gets controlled against good guys with strong ability to do so. Gilbert Burns, Colby Covington. This is why Hamza would destroy him. Boy, and Jorge trying to get up, which means he's going to give up his back. And Jorge gets back to his feet. Okay. And he rolls out of it. And no, he doesn't. So Burns still has the back. Burns got the arms wrapped around Masvidal. Masvidal trying to break it. Then he gets dumped once again. Now he'll walk back to the fence and try to stand back up. Final 90 seconds, round 2. Burns 3 takedowns on 4 attempts. And Masvidal needs something big here. Kind of change the momentum of his fight. And the crowd booing. And this is like in any other sport where a team holds the ball, football and basketball, starts running the clock out. That's what's happening here. I mean, Masvidal's got to do something. Now he gets back to his feet, the crowd roaring a little bit. But he's still got Masvidal or Burns all over him. Under a minute now, round 2. Okay, Masvidal spins back out to space, but he cannot get loose at a grip of Gilbert Burns. And Burns is stronger in this position. Now Burns shows off. Okay. Jorge, you got to go for it now. You just got to go for it. Yep. Misses on a big right. Lands a leg kick to the body. Masvidal jumps in with a flying left knee. Can't really connect. Lands a right. Burns covers up. And that'll do it for round 2. This fight's kind of going the way I thought it would. Can Masvidal pull something out of his bag of tricks? But when you see the big takedown there by Burns where he lifts Masvidal way up, then pulls him off the fence and slings him down. And at best, Jorge landed 2 good significant strikes in that round. 29-25, still Masvidal. But 3 takedowns and 4-11 of control for Burns. Which we've seen in fights, judges give the other fighter the round over the last 3 or 4 UFC weekends. But that one was so crystal clear Burns. Even though he didn't do much with it, Masvidal was just stuck in that position for like 4 minutes. So clearly went to Burns. You could probably, again, lean, slight lean for Masvidal in round 1. So I would say, unless we can see the judges' scorecard and see otherwise, you got to say Masvidal could win this round and still win the fight. Or at least win this round and it comes down to round 1. Here we go. 10 seconds into round 1. Burns misses with a leg kick. Masvidal nearly catches it, but then they resettle in the middle of the octagon. Crowd back on their feet chanting, "Let's go, Jorge." And we haven't seen one big shot by Jorge yet, which means he's been off balance in his fight. You know, in most fights, you see Jorge land at least one shot where it rattles the opponent. Burns comes in with a right, partially blocked by Jorge. All right, backs him off with a jab, another jab. Gosh, you know Masvidal's got that power, but where's it at? He's definitely landing some good leg kicks, but and if you're Burns, you know, I mean, you lost that fight to Hamza. He went off in round 3, so did Hamza, but he lost the fight. In the back of his mind, he's got to be thinking, I can't cruise here. Like, I still have to win this round. And it doesn't seem like he's fighting that way right now, but he does land a big left. Misses on a right. And a left slides across the top of Jorge's head, and he follows with 2 left-hand jabs. Oh, and somebody's connected now, and a big right by Burns. And Burns coming in, and Masvidal is definitely hurt as he takes a big right. Masvidal's smiling, but I think he's really stung. You know, it's more just making your opponent think you're not feeling it when you really are. 240 left in the fight. And definitely a little worry on the face of Jorge's face. Burns lands a right. Now a left jab. Oh, and a right uppercut, and Jorge is in trouble here. Jorge's in trouble. Yep. And if you're Burns, you'd be smart here. Another big right. And Masvidal is definitely slowing down. Boy, and you hate to see this. The age is becoming a factor. Not one power shot in the fight. Tough matchup style for Jorge. Under 2 minutes now, round 3. Ooh. And a big left by Burns. And a right. Jorge comes in with a big right. But he's lacking power now. Oh, Burns comes in. Got the arms wrapped around. You can see Jorge's face. This is very problematic for him. 125 left in a fight. Because Gilbert can just, run the clock out. Up 23-6 in significant strikes in this round. He clearly won rounds 2 and 3. Not even close. Ooh. And Jorge takes a shoulder strike, and then he gets taken down. And Burns in side control with a minute left in the fight. So Burns closing in on a big win here. Jorge's done nothing to make you believe he won this fight. And maybe there's a 29-28. Maybe there's 2. But one judge has got to give Gilbert round 1. It's got to be 130-27 in there at least. When Jorge really struggling here. Burns on top, just, and Burns showing why he's he's still top 5. A solid top 5. Now Burns looking to take the back of Jorge. Jorge spins out of it. Final seconds in his fight. Burns pounds away at the side of Jorge Masvidal. And Jorge Masvidal gets up, and you can just see he looks dejected. Burns just took the wind out of him in terms of control time. Stole his power. I mean, he did it to Hamza, for goodness sake. And as Gilbert Burns continues to win, remember, Hamza still beat him. That's how good Hamza is. Yeah, these takedowns were a big problem for Jorge. Boom. And again, lifting Jorge way up into the sky, following with the takedown. Landing a big right there in round 3. And Jorge was in, close to being finished at times in the 3rd round. But Burns just kind of being patient, taking his time. You're winning the fight. Don't take a chance. And even when he had Masvidal shaking a little bit, he still didn't go in for the finish. Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure you win. And that's what he did, or is going to do when this result comes out. Crazier things have happened. Everybody hugging Jorge Masvidal. We'll see if this is it for him. I mean, you lose a big one like that at home, that's tough. Those guys talking it out. Here we go. Bruce Buffer. 30-27, 30-27, 29-28. So Jorge couldn't have won the fight even with a round 3 win. He would have lost by split decision. So Gilbert Burns getting the victory here. He'll maintain his number 5 spot. And, it just basically went the way I thought it would. Other than the fact that Jorge can land that shot at any time. But you didn't even see the power from him tonight. And Joe Rogan looking to talk to Jorge after Gilbert Burns. And we'll have to report on that later. But Gilbert Burns looking strong here. Proving himself over his last few fights. And the sky's the limit. The sky is the limit for Gilbert Burns after UFC 287.